FPL Gameweek21 transfer plans. What is up everyone, how's it going? Hope you're keeping well and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. No FPL deadline this weekend with the FA Cup break, but we do have that double issue in midfield with Mo Salah and Heung-min Son both off to the African Cup of Nations and the Asia Cup, so we need to decide who's going to come into the team for the next couple of weeks before they return. We also have a certain Erling Haaland who's very close to a Man City return, so we need to have a plan in place about how we're going to get him back into the team. If you're enjoying the content so far this season, please give the video a like and drop a comment below. And if you are watching this video and you're not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button below. We've got some big decisions to make ahead of the Gameweek21 deadline, so let's get into the video. So a quick look back to Gameweek 20, I scored 90 points of the week, which is a massive score for the team. Areola, Mo Salah and Cole Palmer were the stars of the week, all coming away with a double-digit return to help me on my way to that 90 points. Leading up to that Liverpool versus Newcastle game on Monday night, I badly needed a Salah haul after a very disappointing below-average week, with having no City when Foden and Alvarez hauled, and it was a very disappointing return from a double Arsenal defence when they conceded twice away to Fulham. So I badly needed a Salah haul, and by God we got it. An absolute rollercoaster of emotions at Anfield for FPL managers on Monday night, with Salah stepping up to take a penalty in the first half. I was happy out. Salah captain, Dubravka on the bench, but what happened? Dubravka saved his penalty and Trent missed a rebound. Going in at half time then, Trent was on 0 points after he picked up a yellow card, and Salah, my own captain, was on -2. I thought it was going to be an awful start to the new year, but thankfully in the second half the FPL gods were in my favour. Salah scored twice and got an assist. Shout out to Diogo Jota also for going down in the last minute in the box when he could have scored himself. And yeah, Salah came away with 32 points with the armband, and it was a badly needed haul. That game was an absolute rollercoaster of emotions for Salah captainers and non-Salah captainers, but thankfully at the end of the 90 minutes when the final whistle was blown, Salah captainers came out on top. Games like that is the reason why we play FPL, for the ups and downs throughout that 90 minutes. But yeah, I'll definitely be thinking fondly back on that game at the end of the season. Moving on to Tuesday night then, Areola came away with a massive 11-point haul after he picked up a clean sheet, 8 saves and max bonus at home to Brighton for a much needed return. All these returns then led to me scoring 90 points for the game week, and it saw me get a massive green arrow, and I'm now sitting at 148k overall. It's always nice to get that big green arrow right before the break, and I'm in a great position now sitting at 148k overall, so hopefully I can keep pushing on now over the next couple of weeks and get inside that top 100k. That's the Gameweek 20 review out of the way. Let's move on and have a look at my transfer plans ahead of Gameweek 21. So here's a look at my current Gameweek 21 team selection before I review any transfers. To be fair, the team is in decent shape at the moment, and I do have 2 free transfers in the back pocket, and these 2 free transfers can be used on getting rid of Son and Salah out of the team. Starting off in goals, Areola has a decent fixture away to Sheffield United, so hopefully he can carry on from that 11-point haul in Gameweek 20 and get that clean sheet against Sheffield. So moving on to the defence, I'll start off with my 2 Arsenal defenders in Gabriel and Saliba, and since bringing in Gabriel in Gameweek 19, he's been a disappointing own, partnered alongside Saliba, as Arsenal have failed to keep a clean sheet against West Ham and Fulham. Only 1 clean sheet in their last 7 games is a very worrying stat as a double Arsenal defence owner, but they've Crystal Palace up next in Gameweek 21, which isn't the worst fixture, so hopefully I might see a clean sheet from them there. Michael Olise is set to be sidelined for Crystal Palace, so hopefully this will affect their attacking output, and fingers crossed I'll get an Arsenal clean sheet for my 2 defenders. Moving on to the rest of my defence, Pedro Porro and Trent Alexander-Arnold are solid picks in defence, and starting off with Pedro Porro, he's up against an out-of-form Man United team in Gameweek 21, so there's every chance he could come away with a nice return here. He did pick up a goal last night in Spurs' 1-0 victory against Burnley, an absolute screamer from Porro. Unfortunately, he hasn't done it so far in the Premier League, but he has picked up 7 assists in 20 games so far this season, so his attacking output is definitely very high there. Somehow, Trent managed to draw a blank in Gameweek 20 against Newcastle when he could have scored on a few different occasions, but that blank now means he's only blanked once in his last 9 games, which is a crazy stat for the Liverpool right back. Bournemouth away up next now in Gameweek 21, and this is a game where he could easily return also, so I'm happy enough with my 4-man defence here. Just a small, tiny question mark around my Arsenal double defence, but yeah, something to keep an eye on over the next couple of weeks. Moving on to the midfield, Bukayo Saka has been a disappointing own over the last couple of weeks, with only 1 return in his last 5 games, and that return that came against Fulham last week was a lucky goal when Leno palmed the ball into his path for an easy tap-in. Crystal Palace at home up next now for Arsenal in Gameweek 21, and this is a game I have fond memories of last year when I captained Saka for his 2 goals and 1 assist haul, so hopefully Saka might do the same in Gameweek 21. The captain armband is currently on Cole Palmer ahead of Gameweek 21 with 2 double-digit hauls from him in his last 3 games, and he's definitely the main man at Chelsea, and with him being on penalties, there's every chance he can get a haul against Fulham. Ollie Watkins and Dominic Solanke complete my current lineup as of now, but with 2 free transfers to use, let's have a look at how I'm going to use them ahead of the Gameweek21 deadline. The latest update on Erling Haaland is definitely a positive one, with himself and Kevin De Bruyne both returning to full team training this week. Pep's quote from his press conference says he's on 2 to 3 sessions and feels good after. I don't know for Sunday or Newcastle, but hopefully for the rest. This is definitely good news, Haaland coming back into training, and if you are looking to bring him in ahead of the Gameweek21 deadline, all I can say is definitely wait until later on in the week, until after the FA Cup games, and even wait until Saturday morning with Newcastle playing at home against City, so City will have to travel, and hopefully we'll get an indication on whether or not Haaland has travelled with the squad. So looking at my Gameweek21 transfer plans, if it does indeed sound like Haaland is going to start that game against Newcastle, Dominic Solanke will be making way, and with the help from the funds from Mo Salah and Heung-min Son, Haaland will be coming back into the team. I'll definitely be sad to see Dominic Solanke leave the team, as he picked up 4 goals over his last 3 games, picking up a massive 25 points when Haaland was absent. We won't chat about that Luton game, and it could have been a lot more points, but hopefully I'll have him back in the team when Bournemouth double later on the season. I've now got the difficult task of deciding on 2 new midfielders as Mo Salah and Heung-min Son replacements, so let's have a look at my shortlist and which midfielders I'm planning on bringing into the team. Looking at the Salah and Son replacements, I've drafted a 5-man shortlist in Jarrod Bowen, Douglas Luiz, Phil Foden, Richarlison and Diogo Jota, and FPL managers would have to pick 2 out of these 5 players to bring into their team ahead of the Gameweek21 deadline. I'll start off with my preferred pick in Jarrod Bowen, with West Ham definitely have the best fixtures out of all these 5 players, with them facing Sheffield United in Gameweek21 and Bournemouth at home in Gameweek22. Bowen has been in great form so far this season, picking up 11 goals and 2 assists, but looking back to Gameweek20, Brighton were definitely the better opposition, with Bowen left short up front, with Paqueta out injured and Kudus gone to the African Cup of Nations. Paqueta should be back now for the Sheffield United fixture in Gameweek21, so this should definitely help Bowen's attacking output. Another player who will be a popular pick ahead of Gameweek21 is Richarlison of Spurs, as he's an out-of-position player playing up front for Spurs, and he's definitely a man in form at the moment also, having scored 5 goals in his last 5 games in the Premier League. With Son gone to the Asian Cup, there's also a slight chance he could be on penalties for Spurs, and Spurs also have a nice run of fixtures up until Gameweek32, so Richarlison is definitely a long-term hold if you bring him into the team and if he continues playing up front for Spurs. Phil Foden has been in great form for Man City, scoring once and assisting 3 times in his last 3 games, so he's definitely flourishing in that central role for City. The only one worry I would have about bringing him into the team is that De Bruyne is back in full team training, so if De Bruyne comes back into that starting 11, Foden will be pushed out wide and this may affect his attacking output. With Foden moving out wide, he'll have to share minutes with Bernardo Silva, and with Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne coming back into that City team, Pep Roulette will be at an all-time high, so it might be worth just avoiding Foden and saving yourself the headache. If you are stuck for cash, but I don't think you should be, with a lot of funds available from selling Son and Salah, Douglas Luiz is a nice cheap alternative. Aston Villa face Everton up next now in Gameweek21, followed by an out-of-form Newcastle side in Gameweek22, and then followed by Sheffield United in Gameweek23, so there are definitely nice fixtures upcoming for Villa. Douglas Luiz is also on penalties and set pieces, and he scored 1 goal and 1 assist over the last couple of games, so at his price tag, he definitely offers some good value. With Diogo Jota just after returning from injury, and he's only played 32 minutes over the last 2 games, and amazingly, he's picked up a goal and assisted twice in these 32 minutes. With Salah after the African Cup of Nations, this will definitely increase Diogo Jota's chances of getting some secured minutes, and we could also see him playing centrally on the right or on the left, with Diaz shifting to the right also. Liverpool face Bournemouth up next now in Gameweek21, followed by Chelsea in Gameweek22, and if Jota gets some secured minutes over these games, these are games he can definitely perform well in. There is also the slight rotation risk, having to share minutes between Gakpo, Diaz and Nunez, but I'll be keeping a close eye on that Liverpool team sheet against Arsenal on Sunday in the FA Cup, and hopefully Jota can get some minutes there. Looking at my transfer plans then for Gameweek21, I've got 2 options on how I'm going to use my 2 free transfers, and it all comes down to whether or not Haaland is pass fit or not. Option 1, if Haaland is pass fit, I'll be getting rid of Solanke and bringing in Haaland, and then taking a -4, getting rid of Son and Salah and bringing in 2 midfielders out of Bowen, Foden and Jota. That'll be for a hit as well. Option 2 then, if Haaland isn't pass fit, I'll be keeping Solanke up front alongside Ollie Watkins, and then just using my 2 free transfers, getting rid of Son and Salah and bringing in 2 midfielders out of Jota, Foden and Bowen. All I can advise is definitely wait until after the FA Cup games and even close to the deadline on Saturday before making your moves, even if you do lose some value on Son and Salah in midfield, as information is definitely vital instead of chasing price rises. If you've made it to the end of this video, please give it a like, drop a comment below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's hit a like goal of 70 likes on this video. If you are still watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button below and support the channel. If you'd like to become a member of this YouTube channel, take a look in the description below, have a look at the different tiers on offer, and if you'd like to become a member and support the channel, I really would appreciate that. I'll see you all during the week for my Gameweek21 team selection video, where I'll be locking in some big decisions on who my Son and Salah replacements are going to be. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next video.